The president of the Confederation of African Football, Patrice Motsepe, has given the African Cup of Nations tournament a thumbs up, albeit a cautious one, as the tournament heads to its culmination when Senegal plays seven-time champions Egypt on Sunday. SABC News was among a select group of media houses on the continent that were chosen to engage with President Motsepe on the progress of the tournament and footballing matters concerning Africa. Senior journalist Thabiso Sithole was there.
We have to inspire our youth in Africa. We have to build a sense of confidence and self-belief, because this continent has got incredibly talented people, incredibly talented. We should try and create those opportunities and support them and encourage them. So it's to have a final when two of the top players in the world would be opposing each other on African turf for the top title in Africa. Exciting. I've got my views and my assessments, and there may be elements of prejudice because I have high expectations and we have to set high standards. But I think it's more important to also hear the assessments of others. I think it has gone very well, apart from those painful experiences. And let me say something else. I mean, I'm not so happy with the pitch at Olembe. We can do better. You know, the security, the ease of entry, the seat where you sit, the view. You can't buy cool drink or you can't buy refreshments. And, in my private discussions at various levels, to overemphasize, you know, there are things that are outside our control, which are in the control of the government.
Well, for a little bit more on this, we're now joined by one of our regular commentators. He's an African football expert, Christophe Bongo. Mon frère, bonsoir, ça va?
Bonsoir, et ça va très bien. Et je dis bonsoir à tous les téléspectateurs. Basically, good evening to all your viewers as well.
Wonderful. So, let's talk about the third place playoff, which is taking place right now. It's just about half time and Burkina Faso leading 1-0. How's this game going to go before we even talk about the final tomorrow?
I'm very glad that people finally discovering what Burkina Faso is. Burkina Faso, for us, people who follow African football, we know how strong they are. They are a very good side. They actually, in the 4 teams that made the semi-final of this Africa Cup of Nations, they are the only team that are not going to play the playoff for the World Cup just because they finished below Algeria. They played 6 games in the qualifiers for the World Cup and they did not lose a single game. That's how strong Burkina Faso is. And I do remember in the past when South Africa were drawn with Burkina Faso in the same group, many people, they were so jubilating because they believe that Burkina Faso is a small team. Wow, now they discover how good Burkina Faso is. So when you go to Ouagadougou, you know you are playing against a very strong team. So I'm seeing them finishing 3rd in this Afcon, and Cameroon, they will finish 4th, which will be the 2nd time that is happening.
All right, just to let you know that it's now 2-0 to Burkina Faso, an own goal by Andre Onana. So it looks as if your prediction probably is going to hold water. Cameroon's going to have to score 3 times in the second half, and that's a tough ask against the strong Burkina Faso team.
Yes, you know, when you are in Cameroon, I had the privilege to spend a lot of time in Cameroon. Currently, they are playing in 32, 33 degrees Celsius. And the humidity is around 85 to 86. So when you are chasing a game, it becomes very difficult. And you are chasing a game against a very physical team like Burkina Faso. And the Cameroon, the heads are down. The coach made a lot of changes, and they showed already that they have given up, and which is the situation. For people, just for information for people, they are only something like 8 countries, they managed to win the Afcon when they were the host. And the South Africa is part of that small privileged group. So it is not given for you to be an Afcon champion because you are the host.
All right. Before we talk about the Senegal-Egypt game, President Patrice Motsepe, his report is good, but can do better. Do you agree with that?
Last time I spoke with you, I think it was last week, and those were my words to you in this show. I said, regardless of everything is happening in Cameroon, and I am very, very happy the way the Afcon is going, but my word were, we could do better, we should do better, and we must do better. And that's what the president has alluded to.
He spoke about having a lack of control because of government. Does that mean, much like FIFA, where they take over completely? Is that what Afcon needs to do with these tournaments in the future?
They should. For you to host an event like a FIFA World Cup or African Cup of Nations or any tournament, the government gives security, the government gives guarantee to Football Federation or to Football Confederation that, yes, this will happen. We're having the Winter Olympics now in Beijing. It is not up to the IOC to make sure that everything is going fine. They are looking after the tournament itself. But everything else, you have the Chinese government that have to take care of that. What Patrice Motsepe is saying, the president of CAF, is, yes, that's why you have the LOC, Local Organizing Committee, which works with a government, a local government, to make sure that everybody has security, everybody is looked after. That's what CAF is saying. It is very difficult for an organization to come into a country and to take control of everything. FIFA did not do that. What FIFA did is to make sure that whatever South Africa said they should do, they did it. So this time around, there is a responsibility from CAF for not making sure that what the government of Cameroon said they would do, they should have done it, and they must have done it, and they did not do.
All right, okay. All eyes on Sunday now. I know people are going to be very tempted to talk about Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah, but these are 2 teams, and one has won it many, many times. What is your take going into this? Senegal seem to have more momentum going into this match.
Well, before we go to the game itself,
the
big event about tomorrow, and it is, once again, being proud that a country like Senegal, regardless to what happened, Senegal gave their faith to the hand of a Senegalese coach. And it is a coach that took them to 2019 Afcon. It is the same coach that managed to get them qualified for the World Cup. It is the same coach that is sitting on the bench when they will play tomorrow. So the good story about Senegal, the good story about this Afcon, going to the final to see an African coach with all the pride, with all the support, being in the final. That is the first element. The second element, Egypt being in the final now, since 2019, when they hosted the event and they did not go through the semifinals, South Africa beat them in the quarterfinal. Since then, the Egyptian Football Federation is non-existent. They have not had an election in 2 years. So they managed to reach the final by organizing themselves within the team. And this, the coup de chapeau, we can say, goes to Coach Queiroz, who has done so much for that team without having the support of the federation. Of course, he could have not done it alone. He did it with a South African who is our own Roger Dessa.
All right, so what do you think will happen on the field? And I suppose if everybody shows up and everybody plays well, it really will be quite a tough one.
Well, it is said that in South Africa, because many people, they watch, in Southern Africa, they watch English Premier League. So the 2 names that come, it is Mane, it is Salah. Like you say, it is a football team. Let's start with Egypt. Yes, they do have an experience. Yes, they won it so many times and they know how to play in the final. One thing that Queiroz has done, he did change the back four, and that was something extraordinary that he did against Cameroon. Bringing in Kama, playing in the right-hand side, and having Fata in the left-hand side, that created a lot of movement, with Mo Salah coming from the right-hand side as a midfielder, and of course we have Mamouche coming from the left-hand side. They played as a defensive player than playing an attacking player. That makes the team to be solid because El Nani in the center was supported by Fati. So you see an Egyptian that made Cameroon to play football wide. And because of the humidity and because of self-control from Cameroon was not there by the players, it was very difficult for them to penetrate Egypt in the middle of the park, for them to have shots. So the defense of Egypt, it is what you should be watching than watching Mo Salah. And when you go to Senegal side, it is not about Mane. Mane is playing a supporting role. Of course, he's an incredible player. But what you have to be looking, it is, in the right-hand side, you have Dieng. Dieng is a strong player. Each time he gets the ball, you have 2 or 3 players trying to go to him, and that allow now in the middle way Dieng, and of course, in the defense, you have the best goalkeeper in the world, Mendy, being there. It gives them that solid defensive because they know they've got somebody at the back. Because of that, because of the players that I named, I am going for Senegal finally having a gold medal. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, and it's going to be, and I guess because of those 2 players, as you say, it's a team sport, it's probably going to have a really good television audience given their drawing power.
People say it in the semi-final, why CAF played 2 semi-finals, 2 different days. It is football. You need to play football in the prime time. That's why the 2 semi-finals play in the prime time. This final, for people to understand around the world, this final has been shown in 120 countries. That's how big this game is. African football is there. I hope the pitch will do us what we expect we need to see happen. So I'm hoping that we're going to have a good pitch because football itself will have a quality 22 players in the field that will give us spectacular, that we'll see. But at the end, I want Aliou Cissé to be the winning coach.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Christopher. We'll talk after the final. Merci beaucoup.
Au revoir.
Thank you. That's Christophe Bongo, one of our regular commentators. And also, you want to know some good news. South African referee Victor Gomez will be in charge of the game. So, great South African presence in the final there. So, lots to look forward to. Afcon final taking place tomorrow between Egypt and Senegal.